What is up, Soul Family? Coming at you with another collective reading. If you are looking for messages from your guides, ancestors, angels, deities, gods, infinite intelligence, then I might have something for you. I'm doing $20 readings for the rest of the week, so if you are interested, please feel free to let me know. You can book directly through DMing me or through the link in my bio. That being said, let's jump right into it. Feel free to take what resonates and leave what doesn't, as they all say. Sometimes parts of a reading might be for you, a message might be for you. Sometimes the whole thing might be for you. You just never know. And then we have the Death card, everybody's favorite. It's funny because I'm actually watching Sandman right now, and I don't want to spoil anything for anybody. But it's actually a really prevalent theme in the last couple episodes of Sandman. So I feel like the experience or the concept of death is deep levels of change and transformation, and it's not always quite a literal death. Sometimes it's like very, very huge levels of shifting and transforming that you almost don't. It's almost like they're old versions of reality or old versions of yourself that are dying and then being reborn into something completely new. So I feel like with the Death card coming out, whoever this is for, they are probably going through like monumental amounts of change. And I'd say by contrast to the Tower card, it's not always as chaotic, it's not always as jarring. It can be very difficult and it can be very tumultuous, but it doesn't always have to be as, I'd say, like abrupt or as like unexpected of a change as the Tower moments can be. So maybe this is something you've been going through for a while. Maybe it's like from a spiritual level, maybe it's like a personal level where you're trying to go towards something and you just feel like something's pushing you towards where you gotta go. I dropped the card. I'm gonna pick that up really quick. And then we have is this the Three of Cups? Sorry, 2 cards fell. I'm going to grab that one too. Okay, cool. It was the card that was there earlier. So maybe with the Death card and the Three of Cups, maybe you are having like lots of changes like within your friend circle. Maybe, because I know for me, my friends and the people I care about are like family. They are like my everything to me. So maybe this change is directly related to the circle of friends that you have. Maybe it's related to like specifically like 1 or 2 people. I'm not too sure, but it could just be the energy of connections that you have and shifting out of something or changing something. I know that sometimes as we tend to go through changes ourselves personally, or as we tend to change our perspectives or go through different things, sometimes these connections might either fall away or they might kind of dwindle. I wouldn't say dwindle, but they can kind of go on hiatus. They can kind of like go dormant temporarily while we're kind of navigating through other experiences. Or this very well could be, in a very odd chance, maybe you had a friend that did recently transition over and they are using me to give you a message that they are okay. I do also do mediumship, so I mean, that could also be a very odd, but I wouldn't say odd. I say odd because I don't normally say stuff like that within tarot readings. But if it's meant for somebody to hear, then you will hear it. And I trust that, or you should trust that. I mean, I've done countless readings. I've never say this. So I would like for you to trust that this is the actual connection or your friend, if this is something recent or if this is something that's been on your mind or if you've been looking for a sign, then I'd like to say this could very well be one. But I'm going to go back to the main reading. Sometimes the messages that come through can be layered and multiple things all at once. So I feel like this deck is... So there's the Dreamscape Tarot and the Soulscape Tarot, and I'm using both of them in this reading. So we have the Emperor. Yeah, okay, I was right, the Emperor. I thought I said the Hierophant for a second. So maybe this connection was somebody who was a little bit more masculine. Maybe it was somebody who was very comfortable being kind of like that guy, that kind of like burly, tough, some men are just very comfortable being in that energy. Or maybe it was even like a friend group of guys. It could be something along those lines. And maybe you are the person who is going through deeper levels of change to the point where like your mind is being open to different perspectives or different things and different experiences. And maybe they, or maybe the individual, are a little bit more rigid in how they're approaching things or how they think or how they thought. So maybe as a result of that, it's causing like a little bit of tension or conflict. Or if this is for somebody who is trying to connect to their friend that passed, then maybe this is one of the traits of your friend, where they might have been a little bit more stubborn or closed-minded, or maybe that caused like you guys to have like little clashes and stuff like that. I'm going to pull a couple more and we'll go from there. The devil card. Okay, yeah, so maybe they were somebody who had very like rigid ways of thinking, or maybe they were not like the most healthy person, or maybe they were like a very toxic connection. And as a result of these like not so healthy mindsets and mentalities and ways of being, you kind of had to deviate away from them. And sometimes we can have people in our lives that we're really close to, that we love to death, and that we even grew up with sometimes. But then because they have such just not the good things going on with their experience, you can have to deviate away from them, or have to outright cut them off and not exist or tolerate their, or be around them anymore. So maybe this is the energy of you having to had leave somebody or left somebody or a group of people because they were too rigid in their thinking. Their thinking and their thoughts or their mentalities were just very toxic, not healthy. Were perpetuating like very harmful ideologies or things in general. I know that a lot of times when we go through spiritual awakenings, or even if we've grown up like around maybe like a more conservative family, and then as we tend to go out in the world and we start to experience different connections, and we then try to, as we shift our perspectives, not everybody around us does too. And sometimes the more that we then expand our consciousness, especially if it comes into the aspect of tolerance or acceptance, or even if the into the concepts of different forms of spirituality, not everybody is always able to keep up with us. And because of where they are, sometimes they are like almost, because the devil also has to do with, it's like, yes, these people are toxic, but it's also because they could be like in a cage. And it's like it's like society and religion and certain constructs that we go through put us in cages. They put our minds into little boxes, and they don't allow us to break free from it. So maybe you're somebody who, because of the fact that you're changing the way that you're thinking, you're now deviating away from these individuals, and that could be what's very difficult as you're shifting through it. Or maybe it's easier because you're kind of like, you know what, I don't need this. Maybe leaving these people make you feel a little bit more light. It could be anything along those lines. I will do the bottom of the deck for each of them, and then we'll go from there. So this is, I forget which one. It's either the Dreamscape or the Soulscape. I always forget. But on the bottom of this one, we have the Nine of Pentacles. So maybe you're stepping into the energy of having to be a little bit more like independent and kind of like by yourself versus like with these groups or with these people. And maybe that's the energy of having to kind of like not necessarily be, because hermit mode sometimes implies like you are, you know, you're kind of like in deep contemplation. But the Nine of Pentacles, I'd like to think that maybe you're in the energy of, I'm just going to go enjoy myself. I'm going to go enjoy my energy. I'm not going to deal with the drama. I'm not going to deal with the conflict. I'm going to just go vibe by myself and like chill with the stuff I got. So I feel like maybe you have a toxic friend group that takes advantage of you even. Maybe it's a time for you to simply just go off on your own, enjoy your own money, and now you have more resources and abundance to simply take care of yourself. And funny enough, now we have the Three of Cups from a different deck. So this would definitely be a call to say that maybe you're transitioning from one friend group to another, or maybe as you start to kind of have that period of independence, you'll run into new friends. It's like many times when we leave old groups and we go to the other, or many times when we leave something old behind, we're kind of sad in the moment. But then as we kind of continue on our journey, then what is meant to align with us naturally just draws or comes our way. We attract it in. So the fact that I got the Three of Cups at the beginning of the reading on a different deck, and now I have the Three of Cups on the other deck, would definitely signify you maybe going from one friend group to the other. Maybe you're not there yet. Maybe you don't even see it yet. But I do think that as a result of this change and who you are, you're going to magnetize some other people who are better suited for you, so to speak. I wouldn't say better suited because everybody has, you know, everybody has some people like tea, some people like coffee, but better suited to where you are right now, or where you're trying to connect to, or where your goals or your mind is. But either way, peace and blessings. Sorry, I say this for every reading. I never mean for it to go on to like 10 minutes. But you know, at this point, I might as well just say, I don't know. It's just going to go on to whenever it goes on. Hopefully you can understand what I'm saying, and hopefully it resonated with somebody. I hope you guys have a great day, and peace and blessings.